Boy is in the building. Boy.
Shout out to Gordon Stark at work. Shout out to Shane.
Mitch Porter.
Riz Love. Hey is in the chat.
I'm never late. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the I hit the wrong button.
It's 'cause real recognize real.
Yeah, boy. Longest non-intro ever. You gotta wait for greatness. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood. Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Al, go, gang. Do your thing. Please do me a favor. Close out the chat and hit the like button. 95 people in here. Give me 95 likes. If you're watching this back after it was recorded, just hit the like button, man. Just hit the little thumbs up. That's all you gotta do. It is Friday. And I'm here to give you a little bit of pregame content before you guys go out and waste your money on copious amounts of alcohol. All right. Listen, some things happened that I didn't get to touch on yet. By the way, if you hear a little bit of background noise, there's a fan behind me. I didn't put the I didn't put the air conditioner in the studio yet, and then randomly, it's not 1,000 degrees outside, so it's hot in this room. I think I'm sweating. But anyway, there's some things I didn't get to talk about, and then I want to get your opinion by you calling the Sixers fan therapy hotline. Boom, there's the phone number and the access code. We're going to do that right after I get through what I want to get through, okay? So obviously the Sixers hire Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse has the press conference. Big Mike, what up? And he said some things during the press conference that we got to talk about. Let me get my Twitter up here. Boom. That's not it. That is not it. Properties. Twitter. There we go. Yeah, there's some things we're going to cover, and then we're going to take some calls, and then we're going to go have a beautiful, relaxing Friday night. That's what we're going to do. Because, those of you that were hitting me up yesterday, like, hey, where's your video on the Nick Nurse press conference? What are your thoughts here? What are your thoughts there? I was working all day yesterday. Didn't get a chance to. Didn't get to watch the first game of the NBA Finals. You know what it is. But we're here now. So George Santiago, thank you for being here. Below95, everybody in here. Thanks for the members for being in here. Thanks for hanging out. A little nugget before we get down to my opinion on some of the Nick Nurse stuff. Daniel House has picked up his $4.3 million player option for the 2023-24 season. Sources tell ESPN. Now, that should have been a no-brainer. He had a player option on the 2-year deal that Daryl Morey gave him. Daniel House did not get much playing time this past season. That might have been because of Doc Rivers. That might have been because Daniel House Jr. has nothing left in the tank. Whichever, that's a money decision. He's saying, hey, they owe me $4.3 million. Whether they want to play me or not, I'm getting my shmoney. And, if he opted out of that and went to free agency, would he get $4 million a year? Probably not. So, there, Daniel House Jr. And we'll see, maybe Nick Nurse gets more out of a guy like Daniel House Jr. than Doc Rivers did. I could see Nick Nurse getting a lot more out of a lot of players than Doc Rivers did. The more and more I listen to Nick Nurse and the more I think about the situation, the more I realize Nick Nurse is the exact opposite of Doc Rivers. The opposite. The total opposite. So I'm excited about the upcoming season, and we're going to talk about some of the things Nick Nurse said. Now, we got to start with my boy, Howard Eskin. And I know how you guys feel about Howard Eskin because he's very blunt. Comes across with a condescending tone. He kind of has this attitude like everybody owes him something. But really, I think what Howard Eskin is doing is trying his best to speak for the fan base of Philadelphia. And the Sixers have been falling flat on their face for 40 years. So, Howard Eskin, it's just the way that he talks because he's had enough of the bullshit. Josh Harris comes up here with his third coach. Like, we're doing it again. You know what I mean? So he was condescending in this interview. He wasn't the most respectful, nice guy. But Howard Eskin is the only reporter in these rooms with some damn balls, because they're all like new lawyers, you know what I mean? They're just trying to do the right thing, get along with everybody, make friends with everybody, to add to their resume, to go up the totem pole, whatever it is. Howard Eskin's just like, listen, this is what we want to know, so fucking tell us. I like it. I love the fact that Howard Eskin is in these rooms asking questions. So he gets right to the point with Nick Nurse, and if you haven't heard it, here it is.
You talked about philosophies, about getting this team to win a championship. The team doesn't seem to be able to get past the second round. You figured out a way. Can you be more specific what you can do with this team, with the core you have, whether James Harden's back or not, to win a championship?
Now, to be fair, what is Nick Nurse really supposed to say right here? I'm like, did Howard want like specifics? Like, I'm gonna play this player more. I'm gonna play these players less. I'm gonna run this style of offense. So I'm not really sure what the first part of like what he really wanted him to say.
To win a championship.
Well, the first thing is, and this is again a little bit of experience or historical background is some teams, there's you guys have mentioned the second round to me twice already, and we're gonna hit that head on. Like, we know, like, we're judged on how we play in the playoffs. Like, it was the same in Toronto, that we hadn't played that well, and certain players hadn't played that well, and all those kind of things. So the reality is that's the truth.
That makes me happy because Nick Nurse was promoted in Toronto after they couldn't get past the second round of the playoffs, and or past the Eastern Conference final. Either way, he was an assistant, got him to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe. Either way, he was promoted to get more out of a team that was already close, and that's kind of exactly what happened here. He was hired to get more out of a team that was already that is already close. So I'm excited about that.
So I would imagine from day one we're gonna talk about that, and that we're gonna try to attack that. We're gonna have to face it, and we're gonna have to rise above it. That's the mentality part, I think, that you're gonna have to take, right? And there's all kinds of other things, like can we tactically do things? Can we adjust on the fly? Can we improve as the season goes on? And that's
adjust on the fly and improve as the season goes on. Can we adjust on the fly? We went from historically the least likely to adjust coach in the history of the NBA to a coach that press conference number 1 is saying we need to adjust on the fly.
That's a goal of a coach, is as you go, you want to keep getting better, and then you get to the playoffs and you're one team, and that's a 2-month-long journey, and you got to be better at the end of those 2 months. And
Do you want James Harden back?
I love that Howard just cuts him off and says, "Do you want James Harden back?" Now, again, what's Nick Nurse going to say right here? His response was interesting because he hesitated. So there's something to take away from that. But he's not going to say, "No, I don't want James Harden back." But his response was interesting.
The end of those 2 months. And
Do you want James Harden back?
Pardon me?
Do you want James Harden back?
James Harden's a great player.
That didn't answer the question.
James Harden's a great player. Hold on, let me get the chat up here. Make sure we, he said straight up, "Do you want James Harden back?" And I know I'm reading too far into a press conference, but Nick Nurse hesitated. He did the old, did you ever ask somebody a question and you know that they're about to lie to you, and they stall you out for a couple extra seconds? They say, "What'd you say?" And you repeat it, and then so they could have a little bit more time to answer. I feel like he heard Howard ask it the first time. And he's like, "What'd you say?" So he could get a couple more seconds to think of an answer. And then he just says, "James Harden's a great player." That is interesting, because if he, in his heart, I feel like wanted James Harden back on this team, he would have straight up said, "Yeah, of course we want James Harden back. He's a multiple-time, 10-time All-Star, etc. And he's one of the best passers in the game," and on and on and on. If he really wanted James Harden on his team, I feel like he would have answered quicker than that. His answer was interesting.
Back.
Pardon me?
Do you want James Harden back?
James Harden's a great player.
That didn't answer the question.
Well,
You didn't answer the question.
I would say this is that James has a decision to make, and I'd be very happy if he came back.
That just feels like that doesn't. I don't think. Yeah, Muggsy, I'm with you. That sounded like as the kids say, cap. James Harden's a great player. James has a decision to make. I would be very happy if James came back. That was an interesting answer. I don't think Nick Nurse doesn't want James Harden back. I think this more so might be the Sixers not wanting to publicly say that because they feel like James Harden has been trying to run up the price with the leak into rumors about Houston and this and that. And, you know, maybe if they openly, like, we want him to come back, we definitely want him to come back, you know, that might not be a good negotiating tactic. So maybe that's why he said it. It'll be interesting to see what James Harden decides to do. Maybe Nick Nurse does want his point guard Fred VanVleet. I say Fred VanVleet as an option if James Harden walks because you don't have many options. People keep replying to me saying, yeah, Fred VanVleet is going to get it done. That's going to get us in. No, I'm just saying if James Harden walks, what option do you have? You need a facilitating point guard. Is Maxey that? We don't know yet. But I think his answer to that question was pretty interesting. Well, his answer to that question was pretty interesting. And now the internet freezes. Nice, Xfinity, nice. Oh, come on, bro. All right, is that where we're gonna go here?
We're judged on how we play things, so we're gonna have to face it, right? And there's all kinds of new things. Can we adjust on the fly? Can we improve as the season goes on? And that's you know, that's a goal of a coach. Is as you go, you want to keep getting better, and then you get to the playoffs and you're one team, and that's a 2-month-long journey, and you got to be better at the end of those 2 months. And
Do you want James Harden back?
Pardon me?
Do you want James Harden back?
James Harden's a great player.
That didn't answer the question.
Well, I would say this is that James has a decision to make.
I like his answer to that. Here is Nick Nurse talking about Tyrese Maxey, and I liked what he said about Tyrese Maxey in that press conference. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I think this is like one of the most exciting things about a new coach coming to Philly and about a new coach who is younger, motivated, has done good things, great things in the modern NBA just a couple of years ago. I think he's going to be great for Tyrese Maxey. Here's what he had to say to John Clark about Tyrese Maxey.
Well, what excites me is he looks like he keeps getting a lot better. Not a little bit better. He keeps getting a lot better almost every time you see the guy. So that, his work ethic, his love of the game, his compete level, there's a lot of talent there. Just continue to develop his skills, work on his ability to impact the game at the defensive end with all that athleticism that he has, and I think he's super bright.
I like that. And the one that what he said in the press conference about Tyrese Maxey, I don't know if I have it here. Oh yeah, here it is. This is just a 28-second clip, but if it's not in here, I just kind of try to remember it off the top of my head. I was listening to the press conference live.
There's some specifics, I would say, you know, being more of a creator. You know, said about.
This was a question. They asked him, you know, what he can do for Tyrese Maxey to take him to the next level, and he was talking about Tyrese Maxey being more of a creator. You know, so that's like. You know, Tyrese Maxey took a leap in off-season 1. He took a leap in off-season 2. And an off-season now with Nick Nurse focusing on him being more of a creator. Can Tyrese Maxey do that? Can he become more of a facilitator and pick-and-roll ball handler?
There's some specifics, I would say, you know, being more of a creator. You know, said about well, what is creating? Well, creating is you're scoring or you're drawing more people than one, and then you're creating for others. So can he make the reads, all the reads? And I think that's like the first place I would start offensively is getting him, you know, more reps in the pick and roll so he can make the reads to all the other players on the floor depending on what he sees.
Wow. We're going to run drills to help Tyrese Maxey learn how to make all the reads on the floor when he has the ball in his hand. I don't feel like they did this under Doc Rivers at all. I just don't. I feel like Doc was just out there like, all right, we're going to run this. James Joel pick and roll, James Joel pick and pop. Everybody stand around, wait to catch and shoot. And then Maxey sometimes will take the ball and run a pick and roll with Joel. And it just seemed like, maybe I don't know, maybe Tyrese Maxey just doesn't have it as a facilitator, but there's definitely been times where I've seen the potential of him and with a Joel Embiid 2-man game or a Paul Reed 2-man game. So I like the idea, and I like the thought of an off season of, Nick Nurse and the coaching staff working with Tyrese Maxey as a point guard, because that is what he needs. He's quick, he's got the shot, he's got the ability to get to the rim, the mid range, the floater. He has all the scoring tools. If you can get more out of Tyrese Maxey as a point guard, maybe James walks and Tyrese Maxey becomes a star. Who knows? Who knows, man? Aaron Cabbage, what's up, my dude? Let Harden walk. Trade Tobias for Jeremy Grant sign and trade. Start Maxey, Melton, Grant, McDaniels, Embiid. Generational defense equals chip. Thoughts? I'm not a fan of the Jeremy Grant combination with Joel Embiid. I don't think Jeremy Grant's a good enough 3-point shooter. I think Jeremy Grant and Jalen McDaniels is pretty redundant. I think they're very similar players. I would probably choose one or the other. At small forward, man, I want a floor stretcher, man. You know what I mean? I want a floor stretcher. We've tried this generational defense thing. We did that with the Al Horford thing. We were like, lockdown. We're the tallest team in the NBA. Nobody's going to score on us. We got, and we couldn't score. You got to be able to score in today's game, unfortunately. It just is what it is. The game is set up now for offense to run. You can't touch a guy. You can't bump a guy. You can't do anything. You got to be able to score to win in the NBA. I am not interested in a Jeremy Grant trade. But if you could work out a Tobias Harris, some kind of trade to get rid of that contract, I would like it. But I don't think Jeremy Grant gives you any more than Tobias Harris gives you. Mr. Rudy, remember DJ Maxey cooked the Raptors this year. He saw firsthand. He did. Was that his 44-point game? I think it was. I think you're right. So Nick Nurse did witness Tyrese Maxey in action firsthand. So, he probably likes Tyrese Maxey. He probably likes the potential of Tyrese Maxey. And I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to think about, somebody really focusing on Tyrese Maxey. Really looking at Tyrese Maxey and saying, this kid has so much potential. I can get so much out of him. And if we just do this, and this, and work on these things and move forward and implement him in the offense and actually make him a part of the plan and actually pick and roll, actually ISO, double screen, whatever it is, actually run plays to try to get Maxey in good situations, I'm excited for that. Doc Rivers didn't do that. Maxey got here and Doc Rivers told him not to shoot the ball. He was legitimately on NBA TV, mic'd up at practice last year, telling Tyrese Maxey, every shot that you take is a shot that Tobias could have and James could have. And he's telling people there's a pecking order. All that garbage. Nick Nurse has already said that he's here to pick up the pace, pass the ball more, shoot the ball more. He was credited in Toronto as an assistant for picking up the pace, passing the ball more, and shooting the ball more. And every time the Sixers had an injury, or the month that they were playing without Joel, without James, we were raving about the ball movement, how great they all played together. They were sharing the ball. It looked like real basketball. And I said, watch, Doc Rivers is going to come back, and we're going right back to that pecking order. And Doc came back, and we went right back to that pecking order, and the ball movement stopped, and the pace stopped. And all. I think Nick Nurse is really going to concentrate on, pace, ball sharing, and getting open shots. And I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be a much bigger part of it than he was under Doc Rivers. Larry Love. I can guarantee PJ Tucker won't start next season. You know what, Larry? Hey, thanks for the super chat. I think I agree with you. I think I'm with you on the money right here. I think there's no way Nick Nurse looks at this situation and looks at what PJ Tucker did last year and has him in the starting lineup. I think you're on the money. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I could not believe how the starters Doc Rivers' starting lineup, these players could do whatever they wanted, and there was no threat of them getting benched. Tobias Harris could go out there, score 2 points in 40 minutes. He could go on stretches of games where he was just totally invisible. And there was just never a question. Doc Rivers never considered changing the lineup. Every time PJ Tucker and Tobias Harris were healthy, they were starting small forward, power forward, no matter how they were performing the whole season. And you had PJ catching the ball in the corner, pump faking. Pump faking! You know? So I think you're probably right about that, man. I do think you're probably right about that. Here's more Nick Nurse on Tyrese Maxey.
I agree with you. First of all, your thought and your question is he's got a tremendous chance to improve and take a step forward. And from all indications, and that he's really hungry to do so. Good worker, good person, really wants to get better.
I think he likes Tyrese Maxey. And I'm excited. I'm excited for year 4. Tyrese Maxey. Year 4 Tyrese Maxey. Now look, here's the phone number and here's the question. Hold on, let me get my thing up here. Let's get it up here so I can there we go. There we go. Here's the number, top corner, there's the access code, and here's the question. If you watched Nick Nurse's press conference and you've listened to him talk over the last couple of days, and you've really listened to the things that he's said and compared it to what we just watched for 3 seasons, and compared it to not just what we watched on the floor, but what we watched on the podium, what we listened to that coach say, his demeanor, his negligence, his denial, his lack of self-accountability, his lack of self-awareness. If you listen to Nick Nurse recently, in the last couple of days, did he make you believe in the Sixers again? Call the number and let me know. I'll give you my answer right now. Nick Nurse made me believe in the Sixers 75% of the way. I'm 75% back to believing in his team. 75% back to believing in his team. There's still things that have to happen with the roster. There's still players that have to make decisions. James Harden has to make a decision. Does he want to come back? Does he want to go to Houston? Does he want to go somewhere else? Does Nick Nurse want James Harden back here in the system? I'm 75% there. I absolutely love the energy Nick Nurse brought in these press conferences. I love the perspective. I love the motivation. And I just love the fact that he just seems like he's the complete opposite of Doc Rivers. Creative is actually looking at the situation and how can I get the most out of everybody? He said that. How can I get the most out of every individual player? And I just think I think Doc was so past his prime. Doc was so almost out 1 foot in retirement. He wasn't sitting down in the lab really looking at a team and saying, what can I really do? He was just like, you guys were flat. You guys had no energy. We got to be better tomorrow. All right, I'm going golfing. Okay, James, you want to go to Vegas? Go ahead. You want to go to Houston? Go ahead. I'll see you guys on Monday. Hopefully we don't suck again. You know what I mean? That's all he was doing. You could see it in the energy on the floor. You could see it in the body language in these players. I think we have a coach who wants to be in the lab, who really wants to look at things and say, what are we doing wrong and what can we do right, and let's fix it now. So I'm excited for it. I'm 75% there. 75. We got Scott on the line.
So I'm excited for it.
Scott, what's going on, man?
All right, so my question is, the Denver Nuggets, right?
One
How
second,
did
Scott.
they
Scott, one
build their
second.
roster? How is it different? How is it different from what the Sixers are doing? So my question is,
Scott, 1 second. Can you turn the volume off in the background? I hear an echo.
How is it different from what the Sixers are doing?
Yo, Scott,
You there?
can you turn the volume off in the background?
Yep, I did.
All right, man, I got you. Go ahead, man. What's up?
All right, so we see the Denver Nuggets, dominating the NBA right now. They just won the finals, game 1. What are they doing differently than the Sixers building their roster out? And why aren't the Sixers replicating their, success building their roster out?
Yeah, like I don't want to blame it on bad luck, but I think the Sixers have missed on draft picks so many times. I think there was the Markelle Fultz thing was a good idea. I think it was a good idea, the Markelle Fultz thing, and it just, I don't know what he did. He wrecked a motorcycle and tore his shoulder in half. Apparently that's what it was. Apparently that's what the people told me that it was. Or that's what the rumor is. Ben Simmons, when you look at Joel Embiid, should you have drafted Ben Simmons? Or should you have said, I need to draft players that are going to fit around this guy and work on building a team that makes sense? And I think your goal from day one should have been, let's build around Joel. Let's get the most out of this dominant scoring center. And let's draft players that will just make sense. You bring in Ben Simmons, and even if he turned out to be what he was supposed to be, he wasn't a floor-stretching point guard. So really, in hindsight, it didn't make sense. The Denver Nuggets find Nikola Jokic, diamond in the rough. They draft Jamal Murray. They say, what's the best player to put next to this guy? A combo guard who can stretch the floor, handle the ball, and score on multiple levels. I just think drafting. I think it's 100% drafting. The Denver Nuggets drafted well, and then they go out and they make good free agency decisions, good trade decisions. They bring in Aaron Gordon. They bring in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It's just they drafted well, and they made just roster construction. Roster construction, man. The Sixers have had absolutely abysmal roster construction for a long time. Drafting and free agent signings and trades. The answer is roster construction. I don't know if he meant to ask a question and bounce, but he hung up. But that's my answer. We got Matt on the line. Matt, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Matt?
Oh, not much. Sorry, I was going to turn you off in the background. I don't want to
all good, bro.
Echo you again. Yeah, so I agree mostly with your thoughts on confidence level after that press conference. I mean, there's only so much he can say right now on like a lot of different topics. Obviously, he doesn't know all the different X and O things that he's going to do with the roster. He doesn't even know what the roster is going to be.
Right.
But I did like a couple things. One, I liked intentional omission of talking about Tobias during the entire press conference.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that, man.
I don't think they brought his name up one time, and Daryl Morey has definitely brought him up in the past as a pillar of the team. So I think that's kind of hopefully at least giving away their intentions with him this summer. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think. I'm sorry. Was it?
No, I agree. Hopefully, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I hope I think I'm with you on the whole James Harden thing too. Like I don't think he doesn't want him back, but I also think he just kind of doesn't care. Like if he's back, great, I'll do what I can, but if not, I'll do it differently.
Do you think he would prefer? Do you think he prefers more of a coachable player, though? You know what I mean? Do you think maybe he assumes that James Harden isn't very coachable? Because James seems like, with these like, oh, I want the freedom to play the way I want to play. That doesn't sound like you want to be coached. So do you think Nick Nurse prefers a point guard who he can kind of coach his own way?
Probably, yeah. Especially if you could get, for instance, Fred VanVleet in here. That's going to be difficult with the contract situation, but yeah, I can't think of very many players that would be less of a fit for what we know Nick Nurse as right now than James Harden. I have confidence in his coaching ability to do everything he can to make it work, but yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all if he's just kind of secretly hoping he isn't back. It wasn't the most convincing answer.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point earlier. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I don't.
Are you back?
I don't really get.
I said I'm
75.
I said I'm 75%. What's yours?
I don't know. I'm a sucker. Let's just go. Yeah, 75, 80% back. We'll see. I think him and Morey are on the same page. That was the other thing I was going to quickly throw in is him and Morey. You can tell that they're on the same page. They came back to that multiple times, and I feel like it's all but guaranteed now that Morey was not on the same page as Doc with multiple players that we've just complained about nonstop with Isaiah Joe, Charles Bassey, whatever. So hopefully their history together will pay dividends when it comes to the roster construction.
Yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been nice for maybe Nick Nurse to be here and see what you could have got out of Isaiah Joe, man. You know what I mean? See what you could have got out of Charles Bassey. It seemed like a backup center was right there at your doorstep, and you just had to play Montrezl Harrell. Those things were crazy to me. They were crazy to me, and I'm glad it's over.
Oh yeah, and we wouldn't have lost to Atlanta if Nick Nurse was our coach. I'm sorry,
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Doc lost multiple games in that series. So anyway, I'm back for now. We'll see how it goes in July.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling the show, man.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good Friday.
Yeah, you too, man. Matt L. Shout out to Matt L. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks that Doc Rivers got to do what he got to do for 3 seasons, man. We were watching it happen. We were watching this guy refuse to do anything. And I said a lot of times, by the way, call the phone line right there, top right, 605-313-5879. There's the access code. Give me your opinion on Nick Nurse. Give me your opinion on the Sixers' future. Or, if you're back, are you back? Do you believe again? Did Nick Nurse change the way you feel about this team? Are you back? Yeah, I've said so many times, that I started to feel like Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse, or Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers are on a different page. It really seemed like that. And there's... here's what Daryl Morey said about Nick Nurse, speaking on that topic. His championship pedigree and diversity of experience. Diversity of experience, I like that, and I said that too. He has 2 championships in the British League. He has a championship in the NBA G League and a championship in the NBA. Mixed with his uniquely creative approach. You went from a guy who everybody knew was so not creative to a guy who was hired because Daryl Morey thinks he has a uniquely creative approach. We're confident his leadership and expertise will help us unlock the full potential of our talented roster. Again, there's Daryl Morey saying, hey, I put the players on the roster. I gave you the roster. We didn't have a creative coach who could unlock the full potential of our talented roster. So I do think Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers were not on the same page, and I think he hired a coach that he feels like is going to get the most out of the players that he puts on the squad. So I like that. Charles on the line. What's going on, Charles?
So I like that. Charles on the line.
Charles, what's up?
Yo.
What's up, man?
Run it back, Billy. What's up, man?
Yes, sir. We're in here.
Yo.
I was just making sure we were live. Okay, my bad. What's up, man? This is Suns Geek here. How you doing, man?
Suns Geek. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man.
How do you feel about this? How do you feel about the
I'm sure that you heard. What's that?
Yeah, go ahead. The Doc Rivers thing? Go ahead. I think that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that you heard that the Suns hired Frank Vogel earlier, but I was live earlier, and our boy Romp 2.0, also known as Sixers Talk with Romp, said that he wants Torrey Craig on the Sixers. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Would you be interested in a Torrey Craig, and why?
Torrey Craig. I don't think he makes or breaks you. I think it's a nice player, but I don't know. Does Torrey Craig give you more than like DeAnthony Melton? Does Torrey Craig give you more than, you know what I mean? I mean, if you're looking for players to fill the roster, I don't think the Sixers really have a lot of holes to fill besides the starting point guard role, right?
Right.
I don't think that really changes much, and I think it's a little bit redundant with some of the players on the roster. What do you think?
Yeah, I was talking to him through, like, he was in the chat and everything, and you know, I'm a big fan of Torrey Craig. You know, they obviously traded back for him. You know, because we traded for him originally, then I think he went to Indiana for like a season, then got him back. You know, he brings a little bit of experience, brings good defense and everything. But when I was thinking about it for you guys, I was like, isn't that kind of what like PJ Tucker already does? You know, Torrey Craig can sort of shoot at times, but he's not very consistent. Everything he does is on the defensive end. But apparently Romp is interested in him. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. But also, man, I absolutely loved your vlogs and your rant videos when the Sixers got eliminated. I was dying, man. I've been enjoying the content. So I just wanted to tell you to keep up the good work, man.
They pissed me off, man. Hey, thanks for coming in. Thanks for calling in, my guy.
Of course,
I appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah, keep up the great work, man.
All right, bro. Later. Torrey Craig. I think I was thinking of somebody else when he said Torrey Craig. Yeah, I mean a defensive forward. Like, I don't know. How does Torrey Craig move the needle? You know, somebody in the chat said we don't want another Tobias Harris. Torrey Craig and PJ Tucker are the same person. Yeah, it doesn't do much for me. And I just think, bro, with Joel Embiid, look what happened in Game 6. Look what happened in Game 6. We were airballing wide open threes. At the end of the day, I think with a Joel Embiid led team, you need to have 4 guys on the floor that can shoot threes at a good rate. 4 of them. You need 4 of them all around Joel. It's what you've needed from day one. I don't think one person fits on the floor with Joel Embiid if they can't shoot a 3. Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, on and on and on. Markelle Fultz with a broken shoulder. PJ Tucker when he's pump faking. James Harden when he's shooting 2 for 18. You need shooters around Joel, man. You need shooters around Joel. We got Scott on the line. Scott, what's up? Yo, Scott.
Hey, I'm back, man.
What's up, Scott?
All right, so I got a quick question, quick comment here.
All right, man.
So the Sixers roster construction. So I'm all about this. I want to understand your opinion on, first of all, I want to understand if you want to sign Fred VanVleet. I know there's been, controversy about him possibly coming here. And I also want to understand how we're going to reconstruct this bench. because our bench was terrible. We need to reconstruct it. We need to improve our roster, our bench, and everything. So I would just like you to elaborate on that. What are we going to do with Tobias? Everything like that. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for calling in. Scott's the man, bro. He just asks a quick question and he bounces. That's what he does. He asks a question and he bounces. Yeah, there's no... I don't know about controversy over Fred VanVleet. I just think so many people see the stats over one season and they say, this guy's trash. Why would you want him on the squad? And then they say 2 undersized guards in Tyrese Maxey and Fred VanVleet, we would get smoked. All I was saying was, if James Harden walks, you go get Fred VanVleet if you can, because he played under Nick Nurse. He won a championship coming off the bench for Nick Nurse. The last time he played in the playoffs with a competitive roster, he averaged 20 and 7. You know what I mean? He's had games. He's had seasons where he wasn't a great shooter. I don't think... So here's the thing about Fred VanVleet. The main thing people are saying is look at his field goal percentage. And look at his field goal percentage last year. It was 39%. Yeah. That's Fred VanVleet playing on a team with no scores, bro. He had to... I don't think Fred VanVleet is a guy that you want creating your offense and creating your shots and taking 15 to 20 shots a game. That's not why I didn't... Nobody's the assumption is always, whoa, how, I'm saying he's a superstar. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I'm saying you have Joel Embiid, you have Tyrese Maxey in year 4, you got, I don't know who else you have at the time the season starts, but you need a point guard on the floor. That's all I'm saying. He needs to be able to facilitate the offense, shoot a 3 when he's open. Daquan, he shot 39% for... Daquan. The biggest James Harden fanboy left on the internet. God, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable. My question is this. If James Harden walks, what do the Sixers do at the point guard position? Because everybody that's coming at me about the Fred VanVleet thing has not said, I'll put the number on the screen there, sorry, for you guys that want to call in. Everybody that's coming at me for the Fred VanVleet thing has not told me, they have not mentioned a single other name. They haven't said a single other name. They just keep saying, Fred VanVleet isn't a superstar. I didn't say he's a superstar. They just keep saying Fred VanVleet doesn't get you. I didn't say Fred VanVleet's going to drop 45 in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Just saying you need a point guard. Joseph, I'd rather Maxey be point guard over Fred VanVleet. Bro, finna watch too much money to be mid. Want too much money to be... He's not going to get that money. People are saying he wants 30, 40 million a year. He's not going to get that. We don't get much cap space if we lose Harden. That's true. We get 9 million or something like that. Reese, you want to call the show, man? There's the number. If we play team ball and our players know when to pass or shoot, we're okay. Maxey can't facilitate. He has no control yet. I'm excited for Nick Nurse and Tyrese Maxey this offseason because I think that's the one thing. They're going to work on definitely this offseason is trying to get Maxey into more of a facilitator role. 74U, give me Ish Smith and Isaiah Cannon back. Wow. Never heard somebody be a fan of tanking as much as that. Yeah, give me Ish Smith and Isaiah Cannon back. And then give me I can't even think of the other dudes' names, man. No, the team was... come on, bro. They're tankers. Those are tankers. We were playing so much better team ball before Harden arrived. Remember those days. Yeah, that's a good... I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we looked amazing when James Harden first got here before he burned out because he doesn't have the conditioning. He doesn't have the... he doesn't have it left in the tank to play at that level for a whole season. I'm really there. I saw it 2 years in a row. Saw him burn out in the playoffs 2 years in a row. But I'll have to look at what the Sixers looked like the first half of that season where Ben Simmons was refusing to play. That's interesting. That's an interesting thing I should look at. So thanks for that. But yeah, man, look, that's where I'm at with it. I'm excited about Nick Nurse. I'm 75% back in. I'm 75% there. I'm excited to see what he does this offseason with these guys. I think he's a creative mind. I think he, is just going to spend a lot more time really dissecting things and trying to get the most out of the team versus just what we had in Doc Rivers was just so... He just really didn't do anything. He just really didn't do anything. Shane, what's up, man? Yeah, call in, bro. Call in, Shane. We're sitting here. Numbers on the screen. Numbers on the screen, Shane. We'll wait for Shane to call in. Here's a rumor that I thought was funny the other day. Shane, you're waiting? What do you mean you're waiting? You're not on my screen, man. Did you call a number? Did you put in the access code? Why does it say you're waiting? I don't know, Shane. I don't know what you mean by it. I don't know what you mean by you're waiting to join. What do you mean by you're waiting to join? Is anybody else in a waiting line on the number? I don't have anybody on the screen. Larry Love, I think Klay Thompson is a real possibility for Tobias and a 2029 first-round unprotected pick. What do you think? Oh, man. I mean, the Sixers suck at drafting anyway. 2029 first-round unprotected. That would suck to be in the tank in 2029, and then be at the top of the draft and the Warriors have your draft pick. But... if it gets you Klay Thompson, I probably if the Warriors are really blowing it up, that might be possible. But I think they're gonna get more for Klay Thompson than Tobias Harris in a first round pick. I think they're going to get more for Tobias than a... Daquan, you've been watching Embiid burn out after the first round his whole career. See what this is called? What this is called right here, Daquan? This is called deflecting. That's what this is called. You know what I mean? This like when you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar and you say to but he did it too. But he did it too. Come on, man. This is just... You just so don't want to admit that James Harden burned out 2 years in a row. You got to deflect. Yeah, well, look, you've been watching Joel burn out. I mean, come on, man. It's just deflecting. Stop it. You've been defending James Harden with your life. I don't understand. What'd you do? Did you sign up to be a James Harden defender years ago? Shane, try to hang up and recall, my man. Do that. Do that, Shane. I don't know what's going on. Cork is not going to sign back. Is he not still on a contract? We just need to release that guy. We just need to release that guy. Honestly, Cork Maz needs to get out of here. Cork Maz needs to get out of here. Daquan, I got a question for you. Daquan, seriously, just for you in the chat. Do you think James Harden's worth a 4-year max contract right now? If you're the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, Daquan, I'm talking to you. If you're Daryl Morey, do you sign James Harden for 4 years right now? Yes or no? I need to know, Duquan. I'm waiting. He ain't going to answer that. Marino is on the line. Marino. What's going on, man? And then we'll get to Shane. Shane's on the line, too. Marino, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Hey,
what's up, man?
Let me say this. I appreciate your commentary first and foremost.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
When we talk about the Sixers, I think a lot of the callers touched on it, where we need to reconstruct our roster and get some length and athleticism. And we got to try to pick a few of these guys that's sitting on the bench of these different teams that's a diamond in the rough. You got to find. They got to go scouting and checking through the G League, and you got to get some 6'8", 6'9" guys. We got to get a backup center. And I think Maxey is ready to step into that point guard role. I mean, you got to give him the opportunity. You can't say what he can't do if we never put him in that position.
Yeah, I don't think you're totally wrong. And I think when Ben first sat out and before we traded for Harden, I think Maxey was playing point guard for half a season, right? So I want to go back.
Yeah, he was playing pretty good.
I want to go back and look at what he did in that first half of seasons, man. What about Paul Reed? You don't think he's the backup center we need?
I mean, I think he's going to be one of our switchable guys. I've been promoting Paul Reed as the backup center, but if we could get a Nick Claxton, I mean, we let Charles Bassey go, he would have been a great backup center.
Yeah.
I think everything is contingent upon Embiid. Like, he has to slim down. He's too slow. Your offense is running through a guy that's the slowest guy on your team.
I think so too. I definitely think that. You look at
not going to work.
You look at Embiid's rookie season, man. He was a lot more limber, and he was a lot more limber in college, even though he got hurt in college too. But yeah, he's not. He's too big and slow, man. I agree.
We need a guy. What about? All right. Think about this trade for a second. We could trade Tobias Harris to Jersey for Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson, and Cam could be the two. Nah, doesn't work or what?
No, I mean I think you'd have to be high on something to give up Cam Johnson for Tobias Harris.
All right. Well, I mean, I think they would. We got to steal a guy from somewhere, maybe Houston, Memphis Grizzlies. He would go perfect there because they're going to lose Ja for a season. They need some veteran leadership over there on that team.
Yeah, I think
he's a scorer. He's a playmaker.
I think you can probably get a Tobias trade-off by selling him as an experienced veteran or whatever. But I just at another $40 million he's making this upcoming season, I don't see any team really giving up a player for him.
Well, what about some draft picks? I'm sure. Go to State. They're in a bad cap situation over almost $100 million over the cap. They got to give up something.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would use an expiring contract to bring that luxury tax down.
Yeah, you might be right about that. You're going to be able to trade Tobias, I think, on the last year of his contract. I just don't think you're going to be able to get much for him in return. That's going to have to be like, just please take him. You know, they've been trying to trade him for a while. It's always been the $40 million versus what he is that doesn't really bring much back. You know what I mean?
Or do we just give him an opportunity now in the new offense with Nick Nurse? I was a Sam Cassell guy, but I'm willing to give Nick Nurse a shot. I like what they're saying about him being creative because in this new NBA, you got to be creative. Look at what we're seeing right now with the Nuggets in Miami. I mean, the Nuggets look like they're unstoppable right now.
They do. They absolutely do. No, I don't.
And running with three bigs.
I'm ready
so everyone's talking about we can't do it. They have three bigs right now. Porter Jr., Joker, and they had Aaron Gordon out there, right? He's like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, but they're not all redundant
Porter's
though.
6'10".
One plays like a 7-foot point guard. The other one's a shooter in Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
And then Aaron Gordon's the rebounder, defender. You know what I mean? So it's just you can play with three bigs. They just have to fit. They all have to have different styles, I guess, right?
Right. That's all I got, bro.
All right, my man.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling in, my man.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's giving up anything for Tobias Harris. We got to come to that realization, and they're definitely not giving you a young stud like Cam Johnson, bro. Or am I thinking of Cam Johnson's the young one that's like 6'10" shooter? Nah, there's no way you're getting Cam Johnson for Tobias Harris. All right, we'll take Shane's call, and then I'm up out of here, man. Shane finally got in. What's going on, Shane?
I'm doing good, DJ. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. What you up to?
That's good. I'm excited.
Yeah?
For Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, he gives me 90% confidence.
90. You're 90. So you're not... Shane, you were blowing up a couple weeks ago, weren't you?
Yes, and now I've came to think, I actually love this hiring. This is exactly what the 76ers needed. A coach just like Nick Nurse. And I always yelled and complained about Doc Rivers because there's always been one issue with me and Doc Rivers. He never says, get your fucking ass. He never yelled at the guys to get effort. He just says, come on, guys. No. It's like you need somebody like a Nick Nurse that says, you're playing like a bum. You better play better now or I'm going to bench you. They needed somebody to get all up in their face, scream at them, get them motivated. And Doc Rivers just didn't get that done. Neither did Brett Brown. Neither of them did. And that's why I really think this team can go far because they finally got somebody who's willing to scream and yell at them.
I agree with that, Shane. I agree with that. I think there's a balance, and I think that's why, James Harden might be a weird fit because, there's certain players that might not go over too well with. That is a college coaching mentality, really, because you have kids that have to listen to you. In the NBA, you have egos and players that are, I'm a 10-time All-Star and I'm a $300 million whatever. So it might be tough for a guy like James Harden to be part of that Nick Nurse screaming at him thing. But I agree that Nick Nurse is definitely going to have a level of accountability, a higher level of accountability than Doc Rivers did.
Yeah, and another thing that I really do like about Nick Nurse is what I've been screaming at for years that I wish Brett Brown did and that Doc Rivers did, and it's just play the young guys. It's like play the young guys. He's going to play the young guys, and not only that, I got so annoyed watching Doc Rivers' offense. It really, and then his defense. Oh my God, I just wanted to vomit watching it. Oh my God, it was just terrible. The same thing and never adjusting. I love Nick Nurse because he will adjust. He will do in-game, on-the-fly adjustments. Doc Rivers just said, I don't care. Here you go, Joel. That same thing every time. Joel, pick and pop. Give it to Joel.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more creativity. I think I did say the same thing, though, when Doc Rivers was hired, that because I thought Brett Brown didn't know how to coach a team at all, so I thought we have an experienced coach and there's going to be a lot more creativity, and there wasn't any. But I think Nick Nurse gives you reason to believe that there's going to be a lot more creativity in the offense. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it too, Shane. I'm excited for it too. So, so you're not blowed up anymore. So, do you want James Harden back?
I'm not going to be like, I don't think, I'm on Nick Nurse's page, and what I mean by that is I know Nick Nurse's real thoughts. He doesn't want James Harden back. He just had to quickly think of something to say, and he just said, I love James. I want him to come back. It was a quick response. He didn't really know what else to say, so he just said that. He doesn't want James back. I don't think he has any interest in coaching a point guard over 30 years old.
Yeah.
I think he wants Fred VanVleet or somebody else, like a coachable point guard. He wants them to go out and he wants them to do something crazy. And to me, something crazy, people may look at me like this and say I'm weird, but I am starting to become anti-Kyrie Irving. I'm starting to really want Kyrie Irving.
You're starting to want Kyrie Irving?
Yes. Talent-wise. His talent-wise is blowing me out the roof.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving's one of the best basketball players I've ever watched, talent-wise. But he's never...
I'll admit it.
He's never...
He's weird. He's weird. I understand.
But he's really just a one-on-one scorer. I don't think he really makes your team better. What did he do in Boston? Boston's a good example, I think. They were literally better without Kyrie Irving. It's when he's on the floor and he scores, you're like, oh, look at all these nice moves that he did and everything. But in the long run, I just don't think he really does much for a team.
It's just like, I look at Kyrie Irving and I'm like, well, this man, he's almost 31, 32, and he's like almost James Harden, but like younger. he's still athletic. He's like he reminds me of Deshaun Jackson in his early 30s, still has athleticism. And Kyrie Irving still has athleticism. And to me, you get that with Joel Embiid. Kyrie Irving ain't afraid to shoot it in big moments, just like James Harden. But Kyrie Irving is less facilitator-wise. James Harden is more facilitator.
Yeah.
But I think if you bring Kyrie Irving in, it benefits you more than James Harden.
I think you still need a point guard though, because I think you still need a point guard.
And I think your point guard, you can have Kyrie play shooting guard, and you can develop Maxey into the point guard. Because I think Maxey can still develop. He's still developing. All these people that say, "Oh, well, Tyrese is supposed to lead us in the NBA Finals." I actually think that's impossible. At 22, 23, I want to wait till he's 25, 26, till he's in his prime type of thing. He ain't really in his prime. He's still too young. That's why you need somebody like a Kyrie Irving, somebody like a veteran, just somebody who can come in here, Fred VanVleet. I don't care who it is, just a veteran that can come in here and lead this team by example.
Yeah, I'm out on Kyrie Irving though. I don't want anything to do with him.
People view him as a cancer.
I don't want anything to do with Kyrie Irving. I just think he's not dedicated to a team. I think he plays basketball because he's a philanthropist, and he uses his NBA money to put it into programs that he believes is helping solve world issues, which they probably are. But I'm just like a basketball. Kyrie Irving's not dedicated to basketball. I just don't think he is. I like what he does too. If you go to his website, look at all the organizations he runs. This guy's out here feeding third world countries. But he's not. That's his goal though. It's not basketball.
Yeah, you're right. I just feel like I look at that Cleveland team, and I guess it overwhelms me of how he won a championship with Cleveland with LeBron. That's
LeBron James, baby. LeBron James in his prime.
But at the same time, I also feel like I also think that LeBron James sucks, and I think that Michael Jordan is better than him.
Wait, you think LeBron James sucks?
Yes. I just don't think he's good at all. I think people overrate him and over-exaggerate him. What do you think that? I hate LeBron James to the point where I wish Michael Jordan got to face him in his prime, because Michael Jordan would freaking smoke him.
Shane, listen. Shane.
All these kids of these generations think that Michael Jordan sucks. More like it's the other way around. LeBron James sucks.
Shane,
the GOAT is MJ.
Shane, I love you, but neither of them suck. They are the two greatest players to ever play basketball. They're two totally different styles. Michael Jordan would probably beat LeBron James in a one-on-one because Michael Jordan's the best one-on-one basketball player to ever live. LeBron James was a Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan combination to me. 6'7", 280-pound point guard. 260, 50, 60-pound point guard. He was just a very rare-sized and athletic freak with a point guard's mentality. And that's why he's the only player in history with 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and 8,000 assists. LeBron James is one of a kind, Shane. I'm fine with you saying Jordan's better.
I don't know. I just think you have to say it's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson, then LeBron. I think LeBron's top 5, but he ain't 2 or 3, in my opinion.
LeBron James, by definition, is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game.
If you want to go by stats, which I don't go by stats.
Youngest player in history with a 40-point triple-double. Youngest player in history with a game winner in the same game as a 40-point triple-double. Took the Cavaliers, Mo Williams, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas to the NBA Finals at 24 years old. Never got swept in the first round. What did he do? Make it to the NBA Finals 8 years in a row, 9 years in a row. It just is what it is. Michael Jordan was a great scorer. Michael Jordan did not reach the NBA Finals until Scottie Pippen got there. Michael Jordan got swept twice in the first round by the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah,
LeBron did more with less. LeBron did more with less. And Mike won 6 rings and ran away. He went to play baseball, then he came back, then he retired again. So LeBron was more dedicated. That's why he played longer. Sorry. To me, LeBron 1, Jordan 2. That's where I'm at with it. People don't like when I say that.
I don't hate that you say that. I just disagree. But that's what makes the world go round. Everybody has an opinion.
I like you, Shane, man. You the man, Shane. Thanks for calling in, bro. I'm gonna send you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna send you a signed LeBron James jersey.
Hey, I can sell it too. Make some money off that.
All right, Shane. Thanks for calling in, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
That's the music for Shane saying LeBron James sucks. Listen, you guys can disagree all you want. LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play. It is what it is. It is what it is. MJ has more accolades in way less time. MJ also had one of the greatest teams ever assembled. We can go back and forth all you want. He had a 72-10 record. That team, the year after he retired, won 58 games and went back to the Eastern Conference Finals. That was a great team. Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc. It was a great team. You put LeBron James on that team, they win the same 6 rings. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Michael Jordan wasn't. I got him and LeBron are 1 and 2. I just put LeBron at 1, man. I put LeBron at 1 because he's a better basketball player. Makes the right plays. Better team player. Better team player. Better team player. MJ had the greatest teams ever assembled? No. Yeah, he did. How not? Best regular season team of all time. 2016 Warriors, 1996 Chicago Bulls. But in reality, Wilt Chamberlain. Well, if we're going by accolades, Bill Russell's the greatest to ever play. He has 11 rings. So why isn't anybody saying Bill Russell's name? But I respect everybody's opinion, man. I respect everybody's opinion. Below. See, there it is. We got one person in chat knows what they're talking about on the topic. We did get off topic, though. But Daquan, let's hear what Daquan says, because he knows talent, you know? He didn't answer my question if James Harden's worth a 4-year max. 4 and 6, a loser will never be my GOAT. Jordan is a GOAT. A loser can never be over a winning. A winner? A winner is what you mean? All right, Daquan. Let's look at this. How many times did Michael Jordan... How many seasons did Michael Jordan play? Michael Jordan played 15 NBA seasons. He won 6 rings. How many seasons did LeBron James play? LeBron James played 19 seasons. He won 4 rings. LeBron James went to the NBA Finals 10 times and lost 6 of them. That's 10 out of 19. Michael Jordan went to the finals 6 times, won all 6, but he was only there 6 times out of 15 years. So which is worse? Answer me this. Which is worse? Getting to the NBA Finals and losing, or not getting to the NBA Finals and getting swept twice in the first round? So that's what I'm saying. You're making it sound better because Jordan didn't get there 10 times. He only got there 6. Yeah, he won all 6. But there's 9 seasons he didn't get there. Is that not 9 losing seasons? You're saying a loser could never be better than a win. I'm just making your point for you. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. I always have them number 1 and number 2. I always have them number 1 and number 2. LeBron James did more with less. Michael Jordan is a better one-on-one scorer and is the best two-way player in the history of the game. That's where I'm at with it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are the best. Have yourselves a wonderful Friday.